Hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's Cosmic Capacity, which is essentially the YouTube version of my weekly astrology newsletter. And what we do in that newsletter is we take one big transit every week and break down what that really means for your real life. And so this week we are talking about Mars being conjunct Mercury in Scorpio. It is happening right now. I have already felt it. This one is potent. And if we super break it down, Mars is how we take action, and Mercury is how we think and how we communicate with one another. And so when these two meet in Scorpio, it kind of feels like truth serum. Like thoughts get sharper, words cut cleaner, and you definitely are going to find yourself craving depth instead of small talk here. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about what this energy means for each and every rising sign, how this might show up in your world, and how we're going to use this to move with clarity and be very, very, very intentional. And so first up here, we have our Aries risings. And so for Aries risings, this is going to be themes that feel a little bit more intense. So bear with me over the next couple of days, but it is themes of shared resources, emotional depth, collaboration as well. And so with Mercury conjunct Mars and that happening in your 8th house, your focus is really going to turn inward, and it's going to turn towards what's shared rather than what's just yours by yourself. And so there's going to be conversations potentially about money, intimacy, or even trust. And they can feel really intense, but they can also be really clarifying at the same time. And so Mars is going to be giving you that drive and that courage. And Mercury is going to be helping you articulate maybe what's been a little bit left unsaid. And so together, the push here is for you to get honest about power dynamics, boundaries, and those deeper motives. And so in real life, this could look like negotiating a financial agreement, confronting an emotional truth with someone really close to you, or even just like reclaiming your voice in a situation where you have felt disempowered. So this is not surface level talk. It is really about naming what matters and taking action from whatever that truth is. And so your power question this week is, where do I need to speak up in order to create more trust or more mutual respect for myself? After that will be Taurus rising. This is going to be themes of relationships, communication, honest connection. This is your 7th house. And so relationships don't just have to be a partner or a spouse, but anyone that you really have that like one-on-one. They could be professional relationships as well. And so with Mercury conjunct Mars and Scorpio, those one-on-one dynamics come into laser focus. And you might feel more direct, you might feel more assertive, you might be saying something you've been holding back for a while, and Mars is going to give your words force, and Mercury is going to help you choose them carefully. And the ideal scenario is those two create space for you to have an honest and transformative conversation in some way. And so in real life, this might look like clearing the air in a relationship, setting a boundary, or just finally asking for what you need. And so the goal here isn't conflict. Instead, I think really the goal here is just clarity in those one-on-one dynamics. And this transit helps you move from avoidance to honesty potentially. And what we hope is that your partnerships can strengthen instead of having something simmering underneath the surface. And so Taurus rising, your power question this week is, what truth needs to be said to bring more balance to my relationships? Gemini risings, this is going to be themes of routines, health, focused effort, your day-to-day. And so with Mercury conjunct Mars and Scorpio, you are cutting through the clutter. You are tightening up those systems, and your mind is sharp. Your tolerance for insufficiency is low, and Mars is going to give you that push to take action, and Mercury is going to help you see exactly where the leaks are. So this is about getting your life running in a way that's clean and effective for you. And so in real life, this could look like confronting bad habits, reworking your schedule so it supports you in the way that you need, or fixing a process that's been wasting your time and energy. And so you're not really just being like productive for the sake of it necessarily, but you're really working to solve problems and make your life better as a result. And so Gemini rising, your power question this week is, what needs to be cleaned up or cut out so I can move efficiently? Cancer rising, themes here are creativity, dating, children, and joy, all those 5th house topics. And so with Mercury conjunct Mars and Scorpio, your passions are kind of demanding a voice from you, and you are not here to play small or wait for that inspiration to strike. Mars is going to stir up that desire, but also that confidence. There's so much confidence that can come from Mars. And Mercury in Scorpio is going to help you sharpen whatever that creative vision looks like. And so what you make, what you say, what you pursue right now is really carrying some power. And so in real life, this might look like initiating a date instead of waiting to be asked, or diving into a creative hobby with renewed focus, or having honest talks with your kids, because kids are a fifth house topic too, that build trust and understanding. And so the key is engagement plus showing up for the things and people that you love with intention and energy. And so Cancer rising, your power question in this transit is, where am I ready to act on what inspires me instead of just thinking about it? Leo rising, all of our fourth house topics here. So home, family, your private life, your roots, your foundations. And with Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, your focus is going to shift inward to your home life and your emotional roots. And you may feel more protective of your space or more outspoken with your family, or really just kind of driven to make some changes that are going to bring you peace. And so Mars is going to give you that courage to act, and Mercury is going to help you communicate what you need and communicate that clearly. And so in real life, this might look like setting firmer boundaries. Boundary seems to be a word that keeps coming up with this transit. But setting those firmer boundaries at home, it could be starting a renovation project, even if you want to be very literal, or having honest conversations with family members about something that's been building underneath the surface. And this is strong energy for clearing out emotional clutter and created just a more like grounded sense of safety here. And so Leo rising, your power question for the week is, what needs to change at home for me to feel more supported? Virgo rising, themes here. It's all of our third house stuff. So communication and our voice, our mindset, siblings pops up in the third house, and really like a sense of connection too. So with Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, your words have weight and you are thinking fast and you're speaking with conviction and you're getting right to the bottom of things, right to the truth. So Mars does give you that courage to say what others might tiptoe around. And then Mercury in Scorpio is going to help you see the deeper story behind the conversations you're having. And so in real life, this might look like calling out what's been avoided, or setting the record straight, or putting your thoughts into a plan that actually goes somewhere. And right now, you're probably less interested in small talk and more focused on strategy and impact and honesty. So we really, if you're a Virgo rising, you want to use your voice like a tool this week. And your power question is, where would more honesty create real progress for me? Libra rising, these are second house topics of money, resources, what you value, your stability. And with Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, you are focused on where your energy, your time, and your money are actually going. So Mars sharpens your drive to earn, while Mercury is going to give you clarity about kind of really what's worth your effort here. And so this is a potent mix for getting serious about your finances and cutting out anything that drains your resources. In real life, this might look like negotiating for what you deserve, confronting spending habits that don't align with your goals, or doubling down on something that builds real security. And you're not afraid to face hard truths about value, both financial and personal, and then to act on those. And so your power question this week, Libra rising, is, where do I need to take stronger control of my time, my energy, or my money? Scorpio rising. Themes here are all the first house topics. This is happening in your first house. This is a big one. Identity, confidence, direction. And so with Mercury conjunct Mars in your sign, your words and actions carry extra force. You are sharper, you are bolder, you're less willing to hold back. And Mars gives you that power and momentum. And Mercury is going to help you channel that with purpose. And this is strong energy for taking initiative, asserting those boundaries, and saying exactly, and I do mean exactly, what you mean. In real life, this might look like launching something new even, standing your ground in a conversation, or just finally acting on an idea that you've been sitting on. But here's the thing, you are magnetic right now, but you're also intense. So make sure what you say and the things that you do align with what you truly, truly want. Power question for Scorpio rising is, where do I need to act on what I already know to be true? Sagittarius rising, you are feeling it this week because I am feeling it this week. Themes here are 12th house topics. This is a harder part of our chart. And so with this transit, themes that might pop up would be mental clarity, but also rest, need for solitude, private strategy. And so when Mercury meets Mars in Scorpio, it's like your inner world, or our inner world, is kind of waking up with purpose here. And so our thoughts can sharpen, intuition gets louder, you might feel a deep need to protect your peace while also kind of like plotting your next move. Is kind of this like weird energy. And so Mars in Scorpio is fierce and it is focus. And when it joins up with Mercury, our voice here can really carry conviction, even if we're only speaking it to ourselves right now. And so in real life, this might look like taking time alone to journal an idea that you're not really ready to share yet, having an honest internal dialogue about what's in real life. This might look like taking some time alone to journal an idea that you're not ready to share, having an honest internal dialogue about what's been weighing on you, or mapping out something behind the scenes before it's ready to launch. And so we don't need to be moving loudly right now to make an impact. And really where our power is going to come from this transit is from precision, but also restraint. And so the power question to be thinking on this week is, what truth am I ready to face quietly before I go and act on it? Capricorn rising. Themes here are friendships, community, and shared goals. So that's all of our 11th house topics. And with Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, group dynamics come into sharp focus. You are ready to speak up. You are ready to take initiative, and you want to push projects forward with purpose. So Mars gives you the drive, and Mercury helps you lead with some really intense clarity here. And so this is a powerful energy and setup for collaboration, but it's also going to show you who's really pulling their weight. And so in real life, this might look like stepping into a leadership role, having direct conversations about teamwork, or getting clear about which groups actually deserve your effort. And so you're kind of defining what community means to you and also how you want to contribute. And your power question is, which connections are worth building with some long-term intention in mind? And then up next is going to be our Aquarius risings. And so Aquarius risings, these are a 10th house themes. So career, if you have one, visibility, public reputation, your purpose even. And with Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, you're thinking about where you're headed and what you want to be known for. Mars gives you that ambition and that drive, and Mercury is going to help you speak and plan with a lot of clarity this week. And so whether it's in your career or your community or even a personal project, this transit's kind of like pushing you to take the lead a little bit and saying, hey, move with some intention. And so in real life, this could look like taking charge of a project at work. But it could also be things like setting a personal milestone or having an honest talk about your long-term goals and where you want to go. And you're really meant here to use your voice with purpose and show through action what you stand for. And your power question, Aquarius rising, is, where do I feel called to step up and take ownership of my own path? And then Pisces rising, the themes here are 9th house topics of growth and expansion and possibly higher education, travel, learning, perspective. I love all these topics. And with Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, your mind is sharp and it is curious and you want all the depth and all the truth. And Mars is going to give you that courage to ask hard questions. And Mercury is going to help you articulate what you're figuring out right now and what you're discovering. And this is a time to stretch your thinking and explore subjects that challenge you or inspire you. And in real life, this might look like diving into a new area of a study, or traveling somewhere that changes how you see things, or having meaningful conversations that expand your worldview. And you're going to be motivated to learn, to teach, or even just share ideas that carry some real weight this week. And your power question, Pisces rising, is what new knowledge or experience could expand my sense of what is really just possible this week. And so that wraps up this week's edition of Cosmic Capacity. That's our breakdown. And remember, Mercury and Mars and Scorpio can bring focus and they can bring honesty, but they don't always need that full force to make an impact. And so sometimes a quiet, well-timed word or phrase or a decision is really going to hit the hardest. And if you want more rising sign horoscopes like this delivered straight to your inbox each week, make sure that you are subscribed to Cosmic Capacity. I send one key transit every week, and it's something that you can actually feel in real time and then figure out how you're going to work with that in your everyday life. So thanks for watching. Take a breath before you speak this week. Definitely act with intention, and I will see you next week for next week's Cosmic Update.